Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel GS Crochet. For today's project, you'll be needing black, white, and yellow yarn, a 3.75mm crochet hook, scissors, a darn needle, and stuffing. You can grab your tea, a cozy blanket, and let's begin. First, we're going to start off with the bee's wings, so grab your white yarn and your hook, and do a slip knot, and chain 12. And now chain 1 extra for a total of 13. And now we're going to be working in the back loops only. So the little bump on the back, we're going to be working into those, not the V in the front. So skip your very first stitch and work a single crochet in your second stitch. And single crochet along the row until you get to your very first stitch. I have one chain left, and into that chain we're going to be doing 3 single crochets. And now we're going to be working on the opposite side. So you're going to skip your very first chain because that chain is a part of the 3 single crochets that we've just done. And we're going to skip that one and work into the next one. Now you're going to single crochet until you get to the very top of your wings. I'm here at the very top. I have 1 stitch left to go, and into that one I'm going to do 2 single crochets. 1 and 2. Now I'm going to slip stitch into my very first single crochet and chain 1. Now we're going to work on round 2. So single crochet until you get to the opposite end of your wings. I'm here at the end, and it should be that little corner that's on the edge of your wings, so the top stitch. And into that stitch you're going to do 3 single crochets. And now you're going to work a single crochet in each stitch until you get to the opposite side. On the opposite side, on the stitch at the very top, you're going to do 3 more single crochets. So 3 single crochets into that same stitch. Now you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet. Chain 1, and you're going to cut a long strand of yarn, at least 6 inches or more. Now we're going to work on our bee body. So we're going to first start off by making an adjustable loop. And chain 1. Into that loop you're going to do 3 single crochets, or 6 single crochets, excuse me. Do 6 single crochets into that loop. Once you're done, pull on the yarn to close the loop. Now count backwards, find your first stitch, and slip stitch and chain 1. So for round 2, we're going to do an increase in each stitch. Round 1, we had 6 single crochets, so round 2, we should have 12. So increase in each stitch for a total of 12 single crochets. I'm here at the end. Do not work into that last stitch because that is what I'd like to call a pretend stitch. Now you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet and chain 1. You should have a total of 12 single crochets. Now we're on to round 3. So we're going to start off by doing 1 single crochet, and then we're going to do an increase. So our repeat for this round is to do 1 single crochet and an increase until you get to the very end. At the end, you're going to slip stitch and chain 1. For round 4, we're going to do 2 single crochets and then an increase. So repeat for round 4 is to do 2 single crochets and an increase until you get to the very end. At the very end, you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet and chain 1. For round 5, we're going to start off by doing 3 single crochets, 1, 2, and 3, and then we're going to do an increase. So our repeat for round 5 is to do 3 single crochets and then an increase until you get to the very end. I'm here at the end. Now you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet and chain 1. Now for the next 4 rounds, you're going to do continuously single crochets. So single crochet in each stitch, keeping a stitch count of 30 for a total of 4 rounds. I'm done with my 4 rounds, and now I'm just going to slip stitch into my very first single crochet and chain 1. And now we're going to loosen up our yarn because now we're going to be adding our eyes. So grab your darning needle and your black yarn. So the part where we've done our slip stitches and chain 1s, we're going to flip that over and make sure that part is on the bottom. So it's like this. Now we're going to find our 3rd and 4th round. So that's round 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. So now you're going to be working in the holes between rows 4 and 5. Or 3 and 4, excuse me. And now you're just going to place your eyes. You can place your eyes how I'm placing them, like so, which is pretty easy to do. Or you can do I believe it's called the French knot. And I will leave that video in the description box below if you want to see how to do that. But for this video, I'm just going to be doing simple eyes. After you're done doing your eyes, you can flip it over and make a knot in the inside so your eyes don't undo. Make sure the knot isn't too tight because then your eyes are going to look weird on your body. And now you're going to do the same thing on the opposite side. And now we're going to add our mouth. We're going to go down from our center, and you're just going to place your mouth wherever you think you'd like it to go. And now you have your face. Now you can just flip it over and make a knot on the inside, securing your mouth in place. And then snip off the excess. Keep the excess on the side because you're going to use that for the stuffing later on. And now we're going to continue working. So now we're going to change color. So we've just slip stitched and chain 1, and now we're going to cut off just the tiniest bit of yarn, about an inch long. can change colors however you'd like, but this is how I change my colors. So now that I've gotten my yarn snipped, I'm going to pull on it and undo a few things of yarn. Now I'm going to grab my black yarn and now I'm going to tie it on top of each other. So I'm going to grab my black yarn and tie it around my yellow yarn like so. And now I'm going to grab my yellow yarn and tie it around my black yarn. And now I'm just going to pull on both ends slowly, making sure that they don't undo. And then pull them together tightly. And then you can cut off your excess yarn. Now you have your color change. Now you're just going to continue working on your last row of single crochets, the ones that I've just undone. So I'm just going to finish it off again real quick. Making sure you have a total of 30. Slip stitch into your very first single crochet and chain 1. And now we're working with our black yarn. Now you're going to do 3 continuous rounds of single crochets using your black yarn, and I'll meet you when I'm done. This is how it should look like. I've already changed my color back to yellow, and now you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet and chain 1. And now we're going to do 2 continuous rounds of single crochets in our yellow yarn. And here at the end, you're just going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet and chain 1. And now we're going to be working decreases. So we're going to start off by doing 3 single crochets, and then a decrease, so 2 together. So the repeat for this round is to do 3 single crochets and then a decrease until you get to the very end. And here at the end, you're just going to slip stitch and chain 1. And now we're going to do another decrease round. So do 2 single crochets and then a decrease. So a repeat for this round is to do 2 single crochets and a decrease until you get to the very end. I'm here at the end, and now you're going to need your black yarn and change colors again. And now you're going to slip stitch and chain 1. And now we're going to be working with our black yarn. So we're going to start off by doing 1 single crochet. And then a decrease. So repeat for this round is to do 1 single crochet and a decrease until you get to the very end. I'm here at the end, and now you're just going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet and chain 1. And now would be a very good time to start stuffing your bee so it doesn't get difficult later on. I've just done stuffing my bee, and now we're going to continue crocheting. We're going to do a round of single crochets until you get to the very end. Now you're going to slip stitch into your very first single crochet. It might be a little difficult, but that's alright. And chain 1. For our next round, we're going to be doing continuous decreases. So you're going to decrease all the way around until you get to the very end. And now you're going to slip stitch and chain 1. Now you're going to cut a long strand of yarn about 6 inches and pull through. Now you're going to grab your darning needle and start sewing the ends together, or sewing the part of the stinger together, so none of the yarn on the inside comes out. It's just an extra safety precaution to make sure that your bead doesn't come undone. And after you're done sewing the end, just push your yarn through your bead like so and cut the extra yarn off. And now we're going to be adding our wings. So grab your darning needle and your white yarn, or the long end that we've already cut, and we're going to start weaving them through until you get to the center of your wings. So we want our yarn to be right in the center, so we're just going to weave it through our wings until we get it to the center. I've gotten my yarn to the center, and now I'm going to grab my bee, and I'm just going to place my wings on top, and then I'm going to sew it onto the bee. Once you have it all sewn together, you can just snip it off. And there you have your bee. I hope you enjoyed this week's video, and I'll see you next week. Bye!